Welcome into the Michigan Football Report here on YouTube, the #1 most watched Michigan football show in the world. It's a double positive. We're going to speak that into existence, if you will. We took your questions from Facebook following Michigan's really program-altering loss to Indiana on Saturday. And I want to forget about our Facebook audience. We started the show on Facebook Live. Really moved it to YouTube, but let's take a look at the Chat Sports Michigan Football Report Facebook community questions following the game from Donnie Servino. This is the type of season where possibly we pull an upset. Danny Servino, from Facebook, pull an upset over Ohio State. We are young, we are talented, blah, 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 no real expectations. Maybe the players will play with some more balls. Well, Danny, let me just say this to you. If this was 1995, 1996, 1999, 2000, whatever, if this was the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, although Michigan didn't really have any down years then, I would say, sure thing, man, this is the year. But Michigan hasn't upset Ohio State. I guess the last upset victory of Ohio State, if you think about true upset, was 2000 on the road. That was a really bad Ohio State team, so I'm guessing Michigan was pretty close to favorite there. You might have to go all the way back to 1996 so Michigan truly upset Ohio State. So I don't think there is a playbook like there used to be in the 90s and the 80s for when Michigan will upset Ohio State team. Look at the 90s. Ohio State was favored pretty much every single year outside 1997. I think Michigan finished the decade 7-2-1 or something like that against the Buckeyes. So I don't think anything I've seen from Jim Harbaugh, from Don Brown, from this coaching staff and together, or this 2020 team that would give me any reason to believe that Michigan can pull an upset, even with no expectations, over this juggernaut that is Ohio State. Now, if you guys haven't yet, follow us on Facebook. We've got 60,000 plus, we're like 65,000 subscribers, followers on our Facebook page. We put all of our YouTube content on there, of course, but we put a lot of other really interesting Michigan football content on the page. It's facebook.com/HarbaughGoBlue. Now, producer in my ear, James, may have to change that URL soon. You're right, we may have to change it if Harbaugh's no longer the coach, but as long as he is, we'll keep the URL, facebook.com/HarbaughGoBlue. Really recommend if you want to continue to connect with 60,000 plus Michigan fans, head to Facebook now. I'll put it in the comments. It'll be in the description as well. Go follow us on Facebook. I know that you watch. Some more questions coming in on Ohio State. We're just kind of all lumping these together. So thanks to the question from Jamie. No doubt the season has gone horribly wrong, but would a win of Ohio State salvage what's left of this year? Of course it would. I got another question similar coming up from Justin, and he's a little more reasonable. Can we hold Ohio State under 100? So I bunched all these Ohio State questions in to begin the show because I do have some strong opinions on what's going to go on with Michigan-Ohio State this year. I will say this, folks. And it's just me, you guys. It's just you and me. I'm going to look around, make sure nobody here. I am scared shitless that Ohio State literally is going to score 100 points on Michigan this year. Look at their offense. Justin Fields has as many touchdowns as he has incompletions. Think about that for a second. 3 games, as many touchdowns as he has incompletions. It's mind-boggling. I think he's got 4 wide-open drops, so it could even be worse than that. Their passing offense is operating at a level that the Big Ten has never seen, and frankly, I'm not sure out of a half season from Tua Tagovailoa in 2018 that college football has ever seen. It's an efficient offense from this perspective, from a passing game perspective. So I actually think there's a chance that Ohio State scores 80 points. I'm not joking on this Michigan team. 80 points. And if they want to go for the juggernaut, they'll keep their starters in the game and they'll go for 100 like Ryan Day said. I have no doubt that there is some bad blood between Day and Harbaugh, given Greg Madison and the Al Washington situations with them leaving. Obviously some dust-ups on the recruiting trail. I know that they think this is their best team they've had in a long time. They've got not a ton of, it's not like they've got a juggernaut coming back next year. So this might be their opportunity, the only opportunity for the next couple of years to just put a stake into the Michigan football program and just kind of pound them into the ground as a program. So I am definitely scared of that game. I don't think there's any chance Michigan wins at this point, but I will hold to this statement that I have told you guys all year, trying to speak it into existence, beat Ohio State again, okay? 31 days, 17 hours, 16 minutes, 12 seconds when we're filming this here on a Tuesday afternoon. We got 5 days until the Michigan, or 4 days, I guess, to the Michigan-Wisconsin game. Rutgers game coming after that. It's a night game. But always got to be the focus on Ohio State. This Ohio State juggernaut is so just difficult to watch because they're so damn good. And with Michigan's defense is playing as bad as they have since Rich Rodriguez was the coach back in the 2010, 2009, 2008 seasons, I really think Ohio State could score 80 points if they wanted to, 100. But the game time announcement just before, or actually was announced yesterday on Monday. Michigan at Rutgers is a night game. And if Michigan loses to Wisconsin this weekend, if that game even happens, Rutgers are going to lose their game most likely. I'll look at the schedule and see who they're playing. You're going to have 2 1-3 teams playing. Big Ten Network primetime, which potentially could set a record for lowest rated Michigan football television game of all time. Not joking, because there's so much competition. Michigan forever has been on TV, but they've always been ABC, ESPN, et cetera, et cetera. Big Ten Network primetime, 1-3 Michigan versus 1-3 Rutgers. Woo! I don't even want to think about it. So hopefully Michigan gets a win against Wisconsin should that game happen on Saturday. Next question up from Tristan Andrews. How is Don Brown still here? I want him going after the 17 season. He's still mediocre. You can see the question, but I don't know if 17 was the right season. The defense had a pretty good year. And remember, they replaced 10 starters on the defense in 2017, came out looking like gangbusters against Florida in that first game, and really only struggled towards the end of the year. Just remember, they went into the Wisconsin game against a top 7 or 8 ranked Wisconsin team. I'll have to look back at it, but it was like an undefeated or one-loss Wisconsin game. Brandon Peters got the start. He got knocked out. Michigan was up double digits, if I recall, 17-7 or 13-3, something like that. And they lost that game, lost to Ohio State, lost a really bad bowl game. And that was really where the tide turned for Don Brown in a lot of people's eyes, losing to South Carolina when you're up 19 points. But 2018, they looked great all year, and then they got boat raced by Ohio State, lost the bowl game to Florida, gave up 40-some-odd points, and it has really gone downhill for Don Brown since then. Awful showing last year against Wisconsin, bad against Penn State, terrible against Ohio State, brutal against Alabama in the second half, and I'll never forgive Don Brown personally for putting your starting fullback in against Wisconsin as a defensive tackle. It is mind-boggling. But I think after the 2018 Ohio State game, Don Brown should have been gone. And after doing it again last year, I just can't imagine why Jim Harbaugh brought him back. But it's that loyalty to Don Brown that I think ultimately will cost Jim Harbaugh what I think a lot of us believe is his dream job, coming back in his mid to late 50s, coaching Michigan football until he retires. I don't know if he's going to have the option to do that, and part of that is because he held on to Don Brown for a little bit too long. You guys have seen us talk about BetUS. They're our betting partner all season and beyond for Michigan Football Report. Now, I wouldn't be putting my money on Michigan if I were you, because I've lost a little cash. I put some money on them against Indiana this past weekend, but get going. I always put my bets on Twitter about 30 to 45 minutes before kickoff gets going on Saturday. So if you want to see who I'm betting, do follow me there. But chatsports.com/GoBlue. Promo code GoBlue still has the best deposit bonus in the game. 125% deposit bonus. You put in 100, extra 125. Put in 200, extra 250. Lets you lose a couple games and not feel like, oh my gosh, I've lost all my money. You'll still have a bunch of cash left to bet football, NFL, college. Get going. BetUS, chatsports.com/GoBlue. Next question coming up. Remember, our Facebook page, facebook.com/HarbaughGoBlue. How much longer are we going to praise this sorry-ass coaching staff? At what point do we hold them accountable? Look, part of the reason I have a lot of detractors out there on the internet, certainly all the Michigan media, they're kind of scared of the program because we get such good ratings, such great engagement from you guys. They see how good the Facebook page is. They see how good we do on Twitter, is because they're scared that, wait, we came out of nowhere and are doing well, and maybe they're not. But more importantly is we are willing to criticize. It's this crazy concept when it comes to media who are supposed to not have opinions, supposed to tell you the truth, and if it's going bad, tell you it's going bad. The Michigan media, they were still saying Brady Hoke had a chance to turn it around 9 games in the 2014 season, okay? They're still, for the most part, asking Jim Harbaugh softball questions at his post-game press conferences, okay? We don't. We put the coach's feet to the fire. I've told you 2017 season, I said this offense is absolute disaster and someone needs to be fired for it. Luckily, they brought somebody else in. It wasn't the right guy. He only lasted another year. Pep Hamilton, Jim McElwain, and then they brought in Josh Gass, which I think we're still up in the air on what we can expect from Josh Gass. But if you want to hold him accountable, subscribe to this channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and make sure to engage and share all of our content, because trust me, people inside Schembecker Hall, they are watching this show. Sean Hall with the next question. Jim, should Michigan fans be expected to support you? Should they be expected to be okay with with this? Why is Don Brown not put to task for play calling? Well, my name's James, and I do sometimes go by Jim. So if you were addressing this to me, I would say yes, you should be expected to support this show by subscribing. But if you're talking about Jim Harbaugh, I'm not sure who's the more important Jim at this point. I don't know the answer. I think this is a good question for Jim Harbaugh to answer, although he never will, is if you were a Michigan football fan, if you were just an alumni that was a ex-NFL player, now you're just retired in your mid to late 50s like Harbaugh is, and the team was performing against Ohio State like they are now, and against Indiana, against Michigan State like they are now, what would you think as an esteemed alumni? I think Jim Harbaugh, we've heard the last couple of years that he got upset when Charles Woodson said things about Michigan not prioritizing Ohio State when Woodson was on campus a few years back. But what would Jim Harbaugh, the ex-NFL player who was just coming to Michigan's campus, say if Michigan had lost 8 straight to Ohio State? And this new coach who came in with all the bluster and showmanship and all the hype that you can get, making $8 million a year, making almost twice what Ryan Day makes at Ohio State. What would you say if he had lost 5 games, lost 5 straight games to Ohio State, was sitting here in year 6, 1-2, and staring 2-6 in the eyes, 3-5? Maybe at best. I mean, Maryland, they could beat Ohio State, they could beat Michigan. I certainly think Wisconsin can. Certainly think Penn State maybe can, although who the hell knows what's up with them. But I definitely think that Jim Harbaugh, if he injected some truth serum into his body and had to give his takes, he would say, oh, this is an absolute disaster. We need to get a new coach in there. Well, Jim, the coach is you. Maybe a decision will have to be made. Make sure you guys are subscribed on YouTube. You're watching here on YouTube, go down and hit the subscribe button. If you forget about it, come back later. It's always youtube.com/Michigan TV. But if you don't subscribe, when you go onto YouTube, you might get a different video from somebody else. So make sure you subscribe. We'll show up on your feed. You'll never miss a Michigan Football Report video. Nancy coming in. Is this the one with she's the Santa Claus? Great profile picture. We got Grandma Nancy getting into the Christmas spirit a little bit early. I'm a Michigan fan, but this game was awful. I have not turned off a game since Rich Rod, but could not watch any more of this game. The coaches have failed the team and the fans. Okay. I'm with you there. I don't know if I turned off any games during Rich Rod because it was so obvious that one was coming to an end because he wasn't a Michigan man. But 2014 season was the only time in my life that I have actively not watched a Michigan game in my life. Like, I've missed a game or two here and there because of a wedding or something crazy like that. By the way, if you have friends who get married during football season, shouldn't be friends with them anymore. I've lived that throughout the years. But I'm almost there with you. I mean, if they lose to Wisconsin, are you going to watch Rutgers, Michigan primetime, or do you just want to, gouge your eyes out for 3 hours instead? I'm not sure. Nancy is on the right track with what she thinks about Michigan. I'm sure just as many of you guys are, but make sure you don't ever turn off this show and this channel because, we're giving it to you straight. Next question from Shane Wilmert. Anyone else praying for a COVID shutdown during Ohio State week? And even though we're counting on the clock below us, beat Ohio State again, even though Bosa has been our social media slogan this year, it wouldn't be the worst thing if Michigan couldn't get beaten by 70 to Ohio State. I'm just saying. I'm not really sure. But, we've got an Alabama channel that we just started here at Chat Sports. Our Alabama host messaged me a little bit earlier. We're talking about his show. He's like, I think that Ed Orgeron is just putting out the corona positives just so he can avoid getting his butt beat by Alabama because LSU's having a down year. And if Michigan wanted to do the same thing, I don't know. I could probably do without a 74-10 loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes this season. That is our show for today. I really want to thank you guys for watching as always and remind you if you haven't yet, you made it to the end of the show, might as well hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet. And we got 2 more Michigan football videos for you right here, our Sunday video and our Monday video. Next time, we'll see you in a couple days. Go Blue.